another one. I decided to take a break from the house, come on the beach. The girls came on the beach a little bit earlier today when the sun was coming up. Travis Kinley just wasn't ready to get up out of bed, I guess. So I decided to kind of take some time and just be on the beach, man. You know, just be here, dude. Taylor's mom sent us a message one time. I think after I did the Ghost Rock. I don't know if y'all remember, but I like went on Ghost Rock in Utah. Well, after I did that, she sent us a message, something to the effect of like, you know, y'all spend so much time in the truck that it's good to get out of the truck and be on the earth. Like, just put your feet on the earth, smell the earth. You know, it's good to just be with creation. It kind of keeps you grounded in a sense. I wish I could have put it the same way, you know, she put it, but so that's what I'm out here doing right now. You know, I just really want to make sure I don't leave anything on the table on this vacation. I don't feel like getting on the truck. I wish I would have. So I don't want to leave anything on the table. So figure I'd come out here. I know y'all hear the waves. God, man, it's great. So this video is coming from a lot of different places. It may be a little bit longer than what I usually do, but it's coming from a lot of different places. And I really made sure before I hit the record button that I want to frame it in a more encouraging way. I don't like to get on here and go off about what I think about people, even though sometimes, like that entitlement video, it just comes out that way. But I wanted to be sure I framed it in a very encouraging way. I like to push people forward rather than just push people. All right, so this video is intended to push you forward. If you are thinking about going lease, if you're leasing and you're having some trouble, that's what this video is intended to do. All right, quick picture of the ocean and back to the video. So that's what this video is intended to do. So while I've only been leasing since January, my business was formed the end of January, I have done all right. What I mean by that is I've grossed over $200,000 and I am on target to net more than 100 grand. Just being honest, I'm not here to brag. I'm not special, that's for sure. Most trucks that are running like my operation runs, we're all doing it. So just saying, grossed over 200K already as of middle of October, excuse me, and on track to net over 100K this year. How did I do it? That's what I'm here to talk about today. 3 keys to running a successful operation. Now, people are usually, man, it feels great. People usually desire just straightforward, this is how you do it. If you run these states, then you'll gross this much and net this much, or if you do, but this isn't it. I'm giving you just 3 principles of running a successful operation, a successful business. And I don't think it applies only to Prime, but this is what I got for you right now. Right, almost a year in to the formation and operation of my business, this is what I got. 3 keys. First one is planning. What I mean by planning is, it's not enough to just know that you want to go lease. That's not enough. Not in my personal opinion. Now, are there people who do it? Yeah, sure. Are they making money? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know those people. But planning is the first principle of running a successful operation. Number one, you got to plan you have to have a business plan in a sense. Even if you don't have that business plan written out, you got to have some sort of business plan. All right. You got to know, what do I want my business to look like? For example, if your business, I've made this comparison before. My business is its own life entity. My business can survive without me. My business can die while I survive. And while I die, my business can survive. If I was to survive, my business can still die, which means my business is its own life entity in a sense. I get it, my business is not an organism. Well, in that same sense, you gotta know what kind of life form do you want your business to take on? What do you want your business to look like? You gotta have some sort of business plan. For example, Eric's got a business plan that he communicates. He desires to have 5 trucks by the, in 5 years? I think it was 5 trucks in 5 years. As of when I first heard him tell it to me. It may have changed a little bit, especially given, you know, when you got a family on the way, everything changes, you got a family on the way, but nevertheless, he has a clear goal of becoming a fleet owner. I'm sure he's got it written out, spelled out, so any point in time he can look back on it and see how he's doing. Is he on target, right? If he's off the mark, is he off the mark, you know, ahead of time, off the mark behind time? How's it look? You gotta have some sort of business plan. It doesn't matter if you just want to run one truck. Right now, my business plan is only made for one truck. Where I'm at in life is, before trucking, I spent a lot of time with people. I dealt with a lot of people, calls, emails, meetings, things of that nature. And these days, I'm just enjoying myself, man. I'm just enjoying being by myself. I'm enjoying not managing people, not, you know, having responsibilities that extend outside of myself. I'm enjoying just being by myself. My business plan right now, my business model is only made just for my truck. My business plan further, like what do you mean by plan? What I mean is, do you want to run a rich business or do you want to run a lean business? Rich meaning, you know, it's kind of like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, you can either wait on the egg to come first, or you can buy a chicken, you know, and etc. Another example, I was watching Busy Blake's, one of his recent videos about him buying a truck, and he was kind of discussing his options. Woo, that water came a little closer to me. He was kind of discussing his options. One of the options was that he sells his truck, but then he mentioned, but then all of my money will be in. I can't make money. All I do is I have, you know, cash flow, but I can't make money then, right? Or he could buy a second truck while he owns that truck, right? And then look for a driver. He's deciding, do I want to run rich or lean? Do I want to, you know, go ahead and purchase the truck? Do I want to sell my truck, wait on it? How do I want to run it? You got to plan, okay? If you fail to plan, you've heard it before, you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail, okay? You must plan. That is the first principle of running a successful operation. You've got to plan. You can't just be out here, I'm gonna go lease, you know, and that's it. I'm gonna haul freight. Then what guides you in, am I gonna spend this cash, right? There are planning guidelines in my business that guide, you know, am I gonna buy brand new antennas and get my CB radio all peaked and tuned and everything? For example, one of those types of planning guidelines is, how much money do I intend on always having in my savings account for emergencies, whatever the case may be? How much money do I always plan on having? Well, if I'm below the threshold, then I can't buy the CB antennas, okay? All right? So you got to plan. That's what I'm getting at. You got to plan. You have to have a plan on how often am I going to go home. You have to have a plan on how much time am I going to spend home. You have to have a plan on how do I plan on paying for my truck while I'm at home, while the business is closed. I always think of it like an open and close sign on a door. How do I plan on paying for my truck? When that happens, you got to have a plan. All right, first principle of running a successful operation, only from my 1 year experience. I'm not claiming to be some, you know, guru in the trucking industry. I'm just giving you what I got after a year. And I'm almost to a year. I'm probably 9 months, whatever it may be, is plan. All right. Second principle of running a successful operation. First one is plan. The second one is prepare. You got to prepare. All right. What I mean by prepare is you got to be prepared for the emergencies. You can't just willy-nilly this thing. More drivers than I wish was true have informed me that their first year of leasing, they did not take their taxes seriously. They didn't save for their taxes. They didn't prepare to have to pay Uncle Sam at the end of the year, okay? You can't just be willy-nilly running a business and not be prepared to pay for your taxes. When it's time to pay for your taxes, it's gonna come due, okay? I don't care what friend you got that says, oh, I can make it so you don't owe anything on taxes, yada, yada, yada. I get write-offs and all of that other stuff. But after all the write-offs, look, prepare to pay something up. Prepare to pay something, okay? You gotta be prepared. Be prepared for a breakdown, all right? For example, man, in the past 3-4 weeks, I probably picked up 2 or 3 nails at work. I've had to replace 2 tires, 1 steer because of an alignment issue, 1 drive because of a huge nail that could not be patched. Huge nail got my drive. I was so frustrated that day. Tire pressure monitoring system just starts beeping like crazy. I'm like, yeah, Taylor, what's going on? He's like, I don't know this thing. And sure enough, the reading kept dropping and dropping and dropping. I told him, go ahead, pull over, man. Had a big old nail in there, okay? If I wasn't prepared for that, that's gonna come out of my settlement. Now my settlement's gonna be negative for a week or 2 and yada, 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 but I was prepared, it's okay. I got the money for it, no big deal. I'm not stressed about it. I can still pay myself as an employee and be fine, right? Matter of fact, I believe both of those tires came out of this week's settlement. And even after paying all of my expenses, fuel, paying for Taylor, I still put a little something in my pocket. Like almost $1,000, a little bit shy of $1,000. So that's what I'm saying. You got to be prepared for stuff like that. Even if I hadn't made the $1,000, I still would have paid myself as an employee. Okay, even making $1,000, that is a lot less than I usually, you know, plan to pay myself as an employee. But I was prepared for that. It's no big deal. Okay. Say the truck breaks down, you got to go in a hotel room. You got to be prepared for that. Are you reimbursed if it's under warranty? Sure. However, you got to be prepared for that. You need to have a credit card, have the money in your operating account that you can put you and trainee up in a hotel room. You understand what I'm saying? All right. First principle of running a successful business. In my opinion, the first thing I did was I planned, and I continue to allow my plans to evolve and change as time goes on, just like we were talking about Eric. And the second thing is being prepared. I do not take lightly always having an emergency fund. I never want to get in an emergency situation and I don't have the money to get in a hotel room. I don't have the money to put Taylor in a hotel room. I don't want to be in that situation. All right, plan and prepare. And the last one is persevere. Third principle of running a successful operation is persevere. Far too often, I hear about people who go lease and then all of a sudden they are not immediately making a ton of money that they hear people talk about on YouTube, or they're not making the money even that they expected to make. They're making, you know, but there's no perseverance. They throw in the towel immediately. This isn't working, I'm done, right? No matter what age of business you're in, you got to have some perseverance about you, okay? Here's what I mean. And this kind of falls under plan, prepare, and persevere. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine who used to work at Prime. I don't remember if I had the permission to like mention him on this or whatever. But we were talking about, hey, are you prepared for what's gonna happen when rates correct? If you're familiar with the stock market, then you know that rates and prices and things will go up, but eventually there's a correction. It comes back down. Think about the housing balloon. What was that, 10 years ago, something like that, 15 years ago, I can't remember. Eventually there's some pop of the balloon. There's some correction that sends rates back to back much closer to their valuation, if you will, if you want to talk finance and economics. Are you prepared for that right now as a business? Okay. And when that happens, are you ready to persevere through that? Another example is this. When I first started leasing, everybody was like, well, don't start leasing in the wintertime. I told you I started in January. Don't start leasing in the wintertime because rates are going to be rough. Instead, start during the spring and summer, the stronger months. Well, I decided to start in the wintertime anyways because I figure if I can make it in the wintertime, I can make it anywhere. Well, indeed, it did kind of fall short of my expectation. When I first started leasing, I'm pretty certain I was solo also, but I decided to persevere. I decided to push through, you know. I said, you know, I'm not willing to just stop right now. Instead, I'm going to give it a few months, you know what I mean? So you gotta be ready to persevere. You got to be ready to push through adversity, push through the hard times, push through the storm. You got to be ready to press through. Otherwise, it's going to be bad for you. Your truck breaks down, you're down for 4 to 5 weeks. You done took a rental car and went home. You got to be ready to persevere. Otherwise, you're going to throw in the towel. You're not going to make it. Okay? The rain falls on the just and the unjust. You don't know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, eventually everybody goes through a storm in life. Eventually, you know, everybody goes through some hard times. People are not protected from hard times. No one is. Okay? That's just life. The rain falls on everybody's head. So you got to be ready for that. You got to be ready to persevere. You got to have a plan for navigating emergencies. You got to prepare according to the plan that you put in place. Try to have your plan cover all sorts of contingencies. And then boom, just persevere. Everybody loves the good times in business, but come up on the bad times and people are just ready to throw in the towel, man. And honestly, to be honest with you, that's why I went lease. I try to tell y'all, don't lease for the money, man. I went lease because I enjoy this business aspect. I enjoy the roller coaster, the good times, the unexpected times when you're running over nails. It seems like you're just catching every nail on the road. I enjoy these aspects of leasing, man. They're fun to me. Keeps life interesting for me. That's what it feels like for me. It feels like life is much more interesting. It's just fun for me to manage a business, manage another person. It's kind of like my kids, man. You know, my business is kind of like my child. I have to take care of it. So I'd say those are 3 principles that I give respect for how I'm doing in this first year. Now, don't get me wrong, I know people that have went through rougher times than I have leasing. I've heard from them, you know. My position on that is nobody's protected. I'm not protected from that. I'm grateful I'm not going through that. I hope to never go through it, but I understand I'm not protected from it. So I always just try to have that plan, prepare for the plan, and if that day comes, persevere through it. Understand the sun will come back out. It'll shine again. You just persevere, you do everything you can that given day, and that's it. All right, so that's how I tried to frame this message. If you think you'll just throw in the towel, just don't go lease, man. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a solid piece of advice, but if you're not ready to persevere, don't go lease. If you're not ready to have some sort of plan for emergencies, don't go lease. If you're not ready to prepare for the worst, instead of just ball out every day of the week buying, you know, Cadillacs and pickup trucks, and don't go lease, man. Because you'll have fun, but eventually it's gonna catch up with you, dude. Rain falls on the just and the unjust. It'll catch up with you. All right, I'm about to put this camera up, man. I just want to enjoy the waves. Just want to enjoy the waves, man. I'm preaching for a buddy of mine this weekend, so he went out of town or whatever, and I'm really excited about it. So I've never, you know, ran through my sermon on the beach. So I'm gonna preach to the waves. Listen, I'm checking out, y'all. Find you somebody to love. I love y'all. Don't forget, it's not about what you believe, it's why you believe it. I live free.